6. The Veiled Archive. The darkness that followed them down the spiral stairs was not complete. It breathed, pulsed, carried faint traces of whispers echoing from long-forgotten voices. Amuro descended carefully, his hand grazing the wall for balance. The stone was warm, pulsing faintly as though it, too, was alive. Behind him, Elyra's footsteps were soundless. She had wrapped her form in a spectral veil, her presence barely tangible to the dungeon's lurking senses. They had encountered no monsters for nearly an hour. But that, they both knew, meant little. The Veiled Archive awaited. When they reached the final step, the hallway opened into a massive chamber that defied logic. The room was circular, impossibly wide, its edges hidden behind curtains of shadow. Floating platforms hovered at varying heights, each one etched with glowing runes and cradling ancient books, fractured crystals, and skeletal remains. Between them drifted tendrils of violet light, like neural pathways stretching across a cosmic mind. A great orb hung in the center, half machine, half organism. It spun slowly, humming with layered voices speaking in languages Amuro couldn't parse. "This is it," Elyra whispered. "The archive. What's stored here?" She pointed upward, to a platform carved with symbols that flickered like fireflies. Echoes that refused to die. Words that were erased. Knowledge sealed behind memory locks. Some of it dangerous. Some, her gaze hardened, necessary. As they stepped closer, a flicker of movement caught Amuro's eye. The runes on his palm glowed in warning. From the shadows emerged a creature unlike any he had faced before, tall, thin, faceless. It wore robes made from memory, a collage of people's last moments stitched into a tapestry. Its head turned to face them, although it had no eyes. Candle, enemy detected, archivist wraith. Type, echo guardian/thought form. Threat level, moderate. Weakness, forgotten names. Abilities, silence field, memory sunder, spectral lash. "It's not real," Elyra said quickly, stepping in front of Amuro. "It's a manifested defense construct. If you hesitate, it'll reach inside your thoughts and erase your grip on reality." Too late. The archivist raised a hand, and a field of silence burst outward. Amuro felt his thoughts stutter, like skipping stones over broken water. His blade trembled in his grip. He could barely breathe. Elyra moved like wind, no motion wasted. She danced around the archivist, blades forming from raw echo energy. Every strike she landed burned away fragments of the construct's cloak, revealing glimpses of souls buried inside. Amuro gritted his teeth and triggered Shadow Ripstep. He blinked behind the wraith, slashing with the revenant blade. It struck true, cutting through both form and memory. The construct howled in a tongue not heard in eons. Cross swords, skill synergy, blade of reclamation plus echo instability equals fractured memory surge. Effect, temporarily reveals hidden knowledge within enemies. Risk, identity drift. Suddenly, Amuro saw visions, fragments pouring from the wound. Pages of ancient languages, maps of forbidden zones beneath the dungeon's surface, a name, Vearithi, the one beneath. A presence watching. Waiting. The wraith collapsed into strands of light and dust. Silence returned, but a changed silence. A waiting silence. They approached the archive's core orb. Elyra laid her hand on its surface, and her form flickered. She gasped. "It recognizes you," she said slowly. "It's offering a key. A path deeper. But it's locked behind trial." From the orb, a shard detached, hovering before Amuro. Small blue diamond, memory shard acquired, binding of the third thread. Unlocks path to Echo Vault number 3. Grants temporary access to crafting nexus. As the shard embedded itself into his rune, a new sensation surged through him, knowledge. Symbols for tools, materials, runes. Recipes not just for food or weapons, but for shaping memory into armor. Dream forging. Crafting system unlocked asterisk. Hammer and wrench, dream forge, access via camp or anchor nodes. Equipment. Can craft echo-fused weapons and armor. Consumables, memory salves, ether soup, shadow bread, restores stamina plus stealth. Repair. Restore durability using fragments of slain echoes. They rested near a broken dais once used for sermons. Amuro set a small campfire with spectral flamewood, its crackle emitting no heat, but warming the soul. Elyra prepared a thin stew using essence fruit from their last encounter. It shimmered like liquid moonlight. As they ate, Amuro finally spoke. "What are you really looking for, Elyra?" She didn't answer right away. "My real name," she whispered. "The one I gave up to survive this place. If I find it in the archive, maybe I can leave. Maybe I can become more than a ghost." He nodded. "Then let's find it." They stood, together. The orb pulsed again, and a passage opened, downward, always downward, toward the vault. And somewhere, far beneath the archive's foundations, something ancient stirred. End of Chapter 6. The Veiled Archive, Extended. Post-Veiled Archive, Campfire Scene, Names in the Dark. The fire crackled low between them, casting faint golden light that barely pushed back the creeping shadows of the deep. The archive's ruins loomed in the distance, silent now, but still whispering just beneath the edge of hearing. Elyra, quietly, gazing into the flame. "You know, I was 12 the first time I heard the dark speak." Amuro, looking over, surprised. "You heard it that young?" Elyra nods slowly. "My village was built near the edge of a rift. One night, I followed my brother down into the old tunnels. He never came back up." Amuro, somber. "And you did?" Elyra smiles faintly, but there's no joy in it. "I did. But not all of me. Something down there knew my name, and it kept part of me. I've been chasing it ever since." She reached into a pouch and pulled out a worn pendant, the metal half melted, half carved with a symbol that shimmered faintly in the firelight. "Elyra, this belonged to him. When I touch it, I see flashes, his last steps, his fear, the light going out. It's why I don't run anymore." Amuro, softly. "You fight ghosts with memory." Elyra, shrugging slightly. "Better than fighting with nothing." Amuro stares into the flame for a moment longer, his fingers unconsciously brushing the faintly glowing rune etched into his right hand. "Amuro, when I killed the parasite, it wasn't just its voice I heard. There were others. One said my name like it was a question." Elyra, watching him closely. "What did it feel like?" Amuro, quiet, thoughtful. "Like I was remembering something I'd never lived. A field of ash. A blade with no edge. And someone screaming for me to run, but I didn't. I turned." Elyra, leaning forward slightly. "You think it was a vision of the future?" Amuro, shaking his head slowly. "No. I think it was me. But from a different path. One I didn't take, yet." Elyra, "The thread shows possibilities. The stronger your mark, the deeper it pulls." Silence. The fire crackled. Somewhere deep in the ruins, a distant metallic groan echoed and faded. Amuro, after a pause. "This rune, it's not just power. It's a promise. Or a warning. I'm not sure which." Elyra, pulling her cloak tighter. "Maybe both. But here's the question that matters, Amuro." She turned to him, her face solemn beneath the hood. "Elyra, if the thread leads to ruin, will you still follow it?" Amuro, looking at his hand, the rune pulsing faintly with violet light. "I don't know. But if I stop walking, I lose who I am. So yes, I follow." Elyra, soft smile returning. "Then I'll follow too. Just don't expect me to carry your sword when you fall." Amuro, grinning slightly. "Fair. But if I fall, I'll make sure to land on something that bites." They both chuckled softly. Then the fire fell into silence again, and they sat together, two wanderers wrapped in fate, shadows, and flame.